If you shower or brush your teeth or try to make your hair look presentable, here's some good news. Dollar Shave Club has a lot of stuff to help you out. Dollar Shave Club delivers everything you need to look, feel, and smell your best. Shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothpaste, hair gel, even a wipe that leaves your tush feeling tingly clean. All of Dollar Shave Club's products are made with top-shelf ingredients that won't break your budget. You'll feel the difference. Plus, shipping is free with your membership. And here's a great way to try a bunch of Dollar Shave Club's products for just $5. You can get their Daily Essential Starter Set. It comes with Body Cleanser, One Wipe Charlie's, their amazing butt wipes, and their world-famous shave butter. And their best razor, the 6-Blade Executive. Keep the blades coming for a few more bucks a month and add in a shampoo, toothpaste, or anything else you need. Check it all out at dollarshaveclub.com/Chad. That's dollarshaveclub.com/Chad.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
To do it. I don't know about the other party, but Judge Kavanaugh is very anxious to do it, and a delay is certainly acceptable. We want to get to the bottom of everything.
The bottom of everything. What is that bottom of everything? Why is this the way it is? How did we get to this position where we were going to confirm him and then all of a sudden a letter that came from Dianne Feinstein because it was sent to her by a woman who said, who should I send this to? Because I have information about this judge, this person that you're about to appoint to the highest court in the land.
When Senator Feinstein had Judge Kavanaugh in her office for a long time, she never even mentioned this. And that was a long time ago. Never even mentioned it. So why wouldn't you bring this up when he is sitting in her office for a pretty extended period of time? So it's unfortunate.
You know what? I get on Trump a lot. You listen to the show, you know that. Don't always agree with some of the stuff he's done. He's got a real fair question right there to ask. And there's a reason for that.
I don't want to say that. Maybe I'll say that in a couple of days, but not now.
Yeah. And you know what that is? It's politics. He didn't want to say what it is, but it's politics. He knows it. You know it. I know it. We all know it. It is baloney. And now what? That is the question that people are going to be. Now what? Now, supposedly, Monday, she was supposed to speak. That may not happen. Senators and people are perplexed by it. People are trying to figure out what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. Should it be in public? Should it not? I don't think it should be in public. I am on the record saying there's no way that this should be in. First of all, I don't want to see somebody who, in her mind, and maybe in real life, she went through something. I don't know. I wasn't there. Neither were you. People are like, that sounds horrible. You say in your mind. Well, I don't know. I wasn't there. But I don't want to see her torn apart by people. I don't. I don't at all. Zero. Do you? I mean, do you have that want to see that? I don't have a want to see that. I got zero want to see that. And I don't think any of us should. This should be behind closed doors. But I will tell you this. This entire situation is meant for a few Republican senators that are on the fence about him. Case in point, Susan Collins.
Having the opportunity to observe her being questioned, read a transcript or and a deposition and make that kind of assessment is so important. Obviously, if Judge Kavanaugh has lied about what happened, that would be disqualifying.
Yeah, if he's lied. But how do you tell if he's lied? Well, we've got her polygraph. Yeah, you look at the polygraph and the way that the question was phrased, and people can beat the polygraph. I mean, you go back to the 80s, I think it's the early 90s, you had that, I think it was Ames, I always screw up his name, who was spying for the Russians, right? Beat the polygraph, right? Was at the time. Beat it. You've got people all the time. I mean, you know, I brought up yesterday the most famous abduction case in the history of the United States of America, and has nothing to do with human beings. It's all to do with an alien abduction case of Travis Walton in Snowflake, Arizona. Everybody passed the polygraph test, not once, but twice, years later. They took it immediately, and then they took it years later, and they passed it. People can pass stuff. Do you believe them? Do you not believe them? How's it phrased? What was the questions? All of those things. Very interesting. But it happened 35 years ago. Could her memory be wrong? It's possible. Could this be a political stunt because she doesn't like him? It's possible. Could it be a political stunt because she doesn't like President Trump? Again, we know a lot about him. We don't know a lot about her. I mean, we're starting to hear stories of, well, you know, his mom, who was also a judge, presided over a case that her parents were involved with. And then, you know, she's been seen at the Women's March wearing the hat and the whole. Again, we know a lot about him. Do we know a lot about her? And everybody, you have a right to ask the questions. That's the way that a lot of people on the left are like, you can't ask that kind of question to somebody. Well, we don't need another Anita Hill situation. That's why behind closed doors, you're probably going to get a lot more. But then they're always going to be, well, what happened in there? But then you see, you have somebody like Barbara Boxer, and listen to the first thing she says here.
This woman is to be believed.
This woman is to be believed. She's to be believed. That's it. Period. Case closed. End of story. Why don't you know we're talking about it? And he's not to be believed? I mean, that's the way that it's being spun. And on the back of Me Too and all of this kind of stuff, you can also put fright out there to even go, I don't know if I want to ask this person a question because I'm going to look like a Richard. Well, that's not the way we should be doing things. It's about due process. He has his right to defend himself because we're talking about a person's life here who you're willing to destroy potentially for political gain. And I think that's fair that he has every right to fight if he didn't do anything.
This woman is to be believed. Anna Eshoo is one of the most incredible people I know in this world. She has a heart of gold and she's sharp. She knows after sitting with that woman, you can believe Anna Eshoo and you can believe Dr. Ford. This was attempted rape. And this is a woman who exhibits, Dr. Ford, courage, but the classic signs of post-traumatic stress.
Anna Eshoo is a rep in Silicon Valley, essentially, right? She reps for the state of California, 18th congressional. So she is to be believed above all else, period. Case closed, end of story, because somebody has spoken. And for some people on the left, that's all that matters, as we have seen over and over again. I don't know what's to be believed, and neither do you. What I do know is we're never going to know the truth. The truth about this truth is we'll never know the truth because you weren't there and I weren't there. And how many people were there is also in dispute. Because she does say there was two people there. Who is by the way, the person that she's talking about, I think his name is Matt Judge. Is that it? Or he's a big time conservative writer. And he said that didn't happen, but she says it did. And then there was dispute of whether or not there was four people there. And I mean, so this is the nightmare that's going to go on with this. Is it right? Is it wrong? Did he do something? Didn't he do something? Well, that's up for debate now, because that's all we're going to get out of this is debate. Unless one of them comes out and says, you know what, I did do it, or you know what, I did this only because I was so upset and I didn't like the fact that maybe, just maybe, this guy was going to get on there and he was going to change choice and all of this kind of stuff. So I felt like I had to do something, and out of desperation, I did something. Unless that happens, we're never going to know the truth. So the reality is what the Democrats are trying to do is put enough doubt in the minds of somebody like Jeff Flake, who we know can't stand the president, and Susan Collins, who is wary because while she is a Republican, she's also a Republican in a state like Maine, where you've got to be a little bit more socially liberal, and this could potentially bite her in the ass if her constituents see her as somebody who is. So you walk a fine line here. So it's about swaying a few, because that's all they need. If they can get a few to land on their side, that's it. They don't need all of them to change, just enough to put enough doubt. And if this guy's life is ruined because the ends justify the means, even if nothing happens, well, maybe we should ask Dianne Feinstein and everybody else, okay, if that happens and we find out later it's not, do we have the opportunity to get in your Wayback Machine and go build his reputation again? Oh, we don't. Okay. I don't know. I wasn't there. He may be a scumbag. We know a lot about the guy. There's a lot of women who signed off saying, yeah, he's a pretty good guy, right? Some 60-plus women. So there's that. Usually where there's one, there's two, there's three, there's four, there's a pattern. There's that. I'm not saying there's not going to be between now and who knows when, but you're trying to figure it out. I think it's a fair question to ask. And you should question him about these things. You should ask him about these things. You should delve as deep as you can in this situation, because if this is true, then yeah, this does disqualify him. But if it's not true, and this is all about political gain and brownie points for your side and holding it up so you hope you get the midterm elections, which it looks like you're going to, and that way we're going to keep the court 8 versus 8 for as long as we can. If that's what this is about, well, and you don't care what happens, you don't care about the bodies and reputation of the bodies you leave behind, well, there you go. But we will never know the truth. And if you're looking to find out the truth on a Monday afternoon special on CNN and MSNBC and Fox and C-SPAN, you're not going to find it. You're not. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Chad Benson Show.
Darn, that climate change. Batten down the hatches. It's Topical Storm Chad, headed your way.
You know what's weird is, like, we don't seem to care as much about what went on in North Carolina and South Carolina. It sounds horrible. You shouldn't laugh at it, but it's like last year, the whole thing with the, here comes the Houston and all of this stuff, and oh my God, and then there was this, and then it was like, then we kind of had like that drag, like, another one, here comes Maria, and then we had the fight over Maria, and then this storm rolled in, right? So here comes Flo, and we're like, oh my God, it's big news, and then we're like, and we've all moved on because something's happened with Kavanaugh. I mean, it sounds horrible, but like CNN was nonstop. You would have thought the world was coming to an end. Like, this is it. Like, we're going to wake up one day and it's like, oh my God, guess what? It's the sea now starts at Missouri. And you're like, what? Now it's, it wasn't as bad as we thought. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. We do have a poll question up. We'll touch on that. But before we do that, kids, this is a word that's been around. We're going to do this in a second. This is a word that's been around for a while. So I want you to brace yourself, because if you don't know what it is, I'm going to throw it out there for you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, your urban word of the day.
It's time for the urban word of the day, fam.
What? Right now?
Time to get a little more hip on the streets.
I can't understand a word you're saying.
Urban word of the day.
Stan. Weird, right? Like, but if somebody's a stan, that means they're a fan of something. They have this intense fandom. Could be a singer or an actor or but they have this like intense fandom, and they're a stan. I don't know why. I don't know who comes up with these words. It's not me. All right, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just trying to hip you up. All right? I am just the messenger. I'm a conduit. That is it. Stan, the intense fandom that it is your urban word of the day.
Thank you for saying that in dated urban slang so that I'll understand you. That there was the urban word of the day. We damn stretched your cranium.
Phil, you did point that out. Yeah, I think it was. I think is that where they got that from?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I've actually never heard the song, but I think it has to do with the Eminem song.
Yeah, because he has a lot of weird songs about. Remember, he had the weird song about killing his ex-wife and stuff. Like, he had some stuff, right? He had some things, but Stan, apparently, maybe that is where it comes from. I do not know. But Eminem's far more popular than this.
The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Monday night saw the first ever streaming service win for Best Comedy, and it also saw the lowest rated Emmys ever. Just 10.2 million people watched the show, an 11% drop from last year. This is one of the most popular shows on TV. Game of Thrones won Best Drama for a second time. And if you think an 11% drop is bad, it's a 34% drop from the last time the Emmys were on NBC in 2014. It's not just the Emmys, though. The Oscars and Grammys have all seen big drops in recent years.
Because nobody cares. A, we don't want to hear you whine about your politics being better than everybody else's and pass judgment upon us because apparently everybody who voted for Trump is a Nazi or because of whatever thing that you have, don't eat meat or whatever it is. And I'm sorry I'm white, but thank you for this award. We don't want to hear that. B, we have social media, so for all intents and purposes, it's no longer about what you wear because we can see you 24 hours a day because you're nonstop in front of our face, which is great because you're a content provider and that's a great thing. But that's a lot of what drove it. And the audience you're trying to reach that matters, the way that they watch TV and the way that they do things is kind of like why they like the streaming service. It's when they want it and then they go and see it and then they move on. So this is what I think they should do. All right? This is how I think you should fix the Emmys. I had to take a drink there. I was so excited about it. I think you should put everybody up for an award, right? So you do that thing, and then everybody talks about it. Then the day of the Emmys, you don't have a big Emmy thing. You go straight to the winner, wherever they are, if they're filming something, they're doing something, whatever it is, and you surprise them with an award, you film it, and then you loop them all together, and then you roll it out on demand whenever people want to see it. People will talk about it. It'll be great. So somebody could be shopping. They could be picking up their kids. And it's like totally the Publishers Clearinghouse, but they do it with an Emmy. Why not? Because it sucks now. Do you want to hear some? I will play you a few of the things from last night. To say it was awful would be an understatement too awful.
It is an honor to be here sharing this night with the many, many talented and creative people in Hollywood who haven't been caught yet. You know who's not? But my mother's not watching. What? Well, what? She said she doesn't like watching white award shows because you guys don't thank Jesus enough. That's true. The only white people that thank Jesus are Republicans and ex-crackheads. So.
Not funny, awful. There's a reason for that. It's just, I didn't even know it was on. You're missing the point. Now you better change. You better figure out a way to change. Just saying, if you want to survive and be somewhat relevant, change. And also, you're giving yourself awards. That's the other thing. People are like, really? Give yourself an award. Pat myself on the back. Hey, I got an award today. What do you think of those apples? We're going to have a party, and a viewing party. 323-538-2423. Karen Cataline's going to join us. Hashtag Me Too from the right. Let's talk about that and what's going on with Kavanaugh straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This woman is to be believed. Anna Eshoo is one of the most incredible people I know in this world. She has a heart of gold and she's sharp. She knows after sitting with that woman, you can believe Anna Eshoo and you can believe Dr. Ford. This was attempted rape. And this is a woman who exhibits, Dr. Ford, courage, but the classic signs of post-traumatic stress.
Barbara Boxer right there. This woman is to be believed and cannot be challenged because her word above all else is unchallengeable. Joining us now is somebody who may challenge that. By the way, a woman who has been writing about this for a while. She's a columnist, a commentator, a talk show host, and right now she's here with us. KATALINE joins us, and very interesting article you wrote about what's going on and all this craziness there. You hear Barbara Boxer, and you say to yourself, wait, what? She's to be believed? We can't even ask her a question? What do you make of this?
I'm so glad you asked. I've been writing since June that there was something really rotten going on with the Me Too movement. It's not the kind of thing that you can mock all of them, but the problem is it has been weaponized, it has been politicized, and it's been so. I don't want to get off on a tangent, but believe it or not, 31 state legislators around the country have been forced from office without due process, all of them men, and I believe this was priming the pump to go after the really big fish, which was Donald Trump, or any of his nominees, which is Justice Brett Kavanaugh. So this is bare knuckles politics, and they think that we don't understand what's going on. They've gone about turning all men into perpetrators and all women into victims. And as usual, they've overplayed their hand, and a lot of people new to politics are beginning to understand that they cannot be trusted. This is pure politics.
It is, and it was. And look, I don't know what happened. You don't know what happened. Neither you or I were there. But the way that Feinstein and everybody else has played this, even people amongst her ilk, if you will, the Democrats were a little suspicious by the way this came out because they know how it makes them look. And I think what it does is it does a disservice to the actual movement for people that were actually hurt or abused or put in situations that were awful. I think when you do something like this, because there's no way to prove that it did or didn't happen, that, this really does, I think, hurt the movement.
Well, the movement was flawed pretty much to begin with because it endeavored to collectivize very private personal relationships by saying that all women should be believed. It actually demeaned rape and sexual assault, which are profoundly serious crimes. And the problem is that these idiots, much what the left always does, they use people they claim to care about, and they don't, in order to make political points and turn them all into a big voting block. If you can make people think that they're victims, they're going to vote reliably Democrat. So there are a lot of flaws to the Me Too movement, but this is over the top.
Talking to KATALINE here, who is, she does all kinds of things. You can read her all over the place, and she's got op-eds everywhere. She's got an interesting one. Western Journalism Journal is the left using hashtag #MeToo to overhaul state governments and mobilize women. And you know what? On the left side of the aisle, they're going to say, you know what, Karen, you're a shill. Why have you sold out your sex? These talking points are ridiculous. You don't know anything about the truth or what people have been in. How do you react to that?
Well, I'm about the most unlikely conservative female you're ever likely to meet. I'm not only female, I'm Jewish, I'm a social worker, and I used to be an actress. And I used to live in New York. And so I get that all the time, that somehow I should be their mascot. They should own me. Well, sorry, I'm not persuaded by any of that. And as a professional social worker who went to many moons ago, believe it or not, a very conservative school, Columbia School of Social Work, this doesn't happen this way. First off, it's always the liberals who are saying that minors should never be held accountable for crimes, even murder. They don't think they should be tried as adults. And yet when it suits them for political purposes, they're willing to go after someone who was 17. Frankly, I don't believe a word of it, but even if I did, I don't think that it should affect this process one iota. And I think the Republicans, as usual, are always running scared, being allowed to be bullied. They're worried about the midterms. And that's just how the left makes points, by bullying anybody who disagrees with the typical invectives, the typical smears, racist, sexist, homophobe, misogynist. And they're going to keep getting away with it until we stand up and fight back and mock their stupidity. We have to do that. We have to.
You know what? I look at a lot of the stuff out there, and you know what? I choose no sides. I look at each individual issue, and I go, oh, yeah, this way or that way. But I look at stuff like this, and I feel sorry for a woman who may potentially have thought something went that way. It may have actually happened. We'll never know the truth because, A, it was 35 years ago, and it's a he said, she said situation where this is all about grandstanding, and I don't think we're going to figure anything out from whatever happened that night. And that's my frustration in something like this is this woman, I feel, is being used for whatever reason. And I think as far as they're concerned, this is about abortion and the ends justify the mean. And it doesn't really matter. They're going to go after him as hard as possible because they know that there is a good chance they're going to more than hold serve. They're going to take back potentially the Senate and the House. So you look at something like this as a woman, and how frustrated do you get when you see people like Feinstein and the victimhood mentality and all of these kind of things? And you must be frustrated at times. And I understand why, for me, I get sick and tired of the victimhood mentality. But as a woman, how do you feel about it?
Well, that's one of the reasons I've been writing about this for so long, because I think it does an enormous disservice to women as well as men. You know, remember in the 70s, we had Helen Reddy and I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar. I'm invincible. Now women are portrayed like hothouse flowers, again, for political purposes. There's a lot of reasons this is bad for women as well as men. One of the biggest reasons it's bad for women is because they have gone after straight men with such a vengeance that they have emasculated men for very specific political reasons, I might add. It is a straight man at his very best that symbolizes everything that is capitalism: competitiveness, resilience, taking care of your family. The left doesn't like any of that. They would like every man to be a transvestite or gay. They're not threatened by them for the most part, but they have gone about with terms like a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle, and toxic masculinity. As I've written, the dirty little secret is that women never wanted Ashley Wilkes over Rhett Butler. Women never wanted Alan Alda over Tom Selleck. This was a line the left tried to hand us, and they did us a disservice because it took me until an awful lot later in life to find out that a strong woman needs a strong man. A strong woman wants a strong man. And the left, frankly, I know this sounds over the top, but the left, especially in culture, poisons everything it touches. Everything.
Well, at least we know where you stand on all these things. I don't know if I agree with all of that, but trust me, I look out there and I will say this. One thing I do agree with: ladies love Tom Selleck. They love Magnum PI. Alan Alda might be sensitive, but in the end, Magnum's always going to get the ladies, right?
Well, and they wanted they wanted us to think that we should love the beta male, the trans. What did they call it? They've always got a new name. They are always trying to control the culture. And I'm a big culture watcher because that's how they change minds and politics, is by talking women into believing that they want the soft, sensitive, feminist man. Well, again, another dirty little secret is that strong men are not abusive. Strength is not abusive, but somehow they've talked a lot of women into believing that it is, and that they have to have a Casper Milquetoast in order to have a man who's not going to be abusive to them. And this does an enormous service to women. It also tells women that because they have two X chromosomes, that they are required to vote a certain way, and that we can't hold women accountable. We need to hold women accountable. If all we do is vote, and we found that out in the Hillary Clinton campaign, if all we do is vote for other women, which women have never done, in fact, women are very critical of other women oftentimes, then we've been reduced to nothing more than what the left wants us to be, which is, you should pardon my expression, a vagina. And we're more than that.
Well, there you go. There you go. At least we know where you stand, and that's good. And by the way, we prefer to be called cisgender men. Karen Cataline, we appreciate you coming on today and enjoyed having you on. And we'll do it again sometime. I appreciate that.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it, too.
Thank you. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter, ChadBenson. I think we know where she stands, Phil, in a lot of these things. Just wind her up and send her out. It's interesting. Look, I like to hear from all sides. I've got the left, I've got the right. We know where she stands. I don't know if I agree with all of the things that she said there, but, some of it I do. One thing about the culture thing that she is right. The left is, especially when it comes to verbiage and the culture, they do tend to control that in a way that it's unfortunate, because culture should just be culture. And I'm talking about the culture wars out there. They do have a nice sense of control over that culture. And that, to me, is one of the things that this is where the culture, we get these problems with the what you say and how you say it and how it was taken and all of this kind of stuff. That's something right there that is something to be believed for sure. Again, she has her views, but I do think that there is some truth in some of the fun and some of the craziness there. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It is the Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
Storm alert! So Stormy's book is coming out, and it's salacious because she does go there. She's going there about the junk and stuff. It's so funny. Oh, goodness me. I mean, everybody's got a book. I think it's fair, and this is just me. I think Trump should get a piece of everybody who's making $1. He is an industry. Right? So let's just say Stormy makes $1 million off this. I'm thinking, yeah, 50 grand to his favorite charity. How about that? Right? Like, to his favorite stripper. Chad, it's not right. It's not right. The crux of the book, however, follows Daniels' decision to go public with her story. Yeah, that's the crux of the story, kids. That's exactly what it is. That is the crux of the story. I'm super excited to not read yet again another book. So Elon Musk is doing something, and are you ready for it? Now, producer Phil is super excited about it. And we're going to be sending him up, but he's not going in the first batch.
Elon Musk has signed up his first private customer to ride his BFR, the big Falcon rocket, which he hasn't even built yet, for a ride around the moon.
Which is a BFD, by the way, for those of you not keeping score. So he's got this thing. He's going to be sending people up in it. It's going to be 6 guys. Yusaka Maezawa is the first person who has signed up. He's 42.
It's a Japanese entrepreneur. He's a billionaire. He's into the clothing business. According to Wikipedia, he's worth about $3 billion. No word on how much he's actually paying SpaceX for this flight, and he's not going by himself. He's actually buying out the whole flight. He wants to take 6 to 8 artists with him, whether it's a musician or a novelist, an architect, a fashion designer, so that they can see the moon and the Earth and create art as well on this flight, which is scheduled for 2023.
I saw this episode of Family Guy. Chris saves the day. Of course he's a billionaire. Who else would be it? It's like, oh, yeah, he works down the street as a mechanic. He sold his house and he's living in the curb, but he can't wait. He put a deposit down. He wrote like 6 post-dated checks. Of course he's a billionaire. Who else would go on something like this? Here's my thing, though. All right, let's throw this out there, right? So, you're going to do this. He did ask the question to the one and only Elon Musk, and Elon answered back about this question that's vitally important.
He said to me, it's not so dangerous, so I trust him. Yeah.
Was he smoking weed with Joe Rogan? But, so you put down all this money, and you're going to take, who knows who you're going to take, right? You're going to take apparently, I don't know if it's 6 other people or if it's him, and is there a crew? They never said that. You would hope there's other people in the rocket ship, like just in case it kind of goes weird. But you have, 4.5 years to get ready for this? Do they start training? Because you're not just going to show up and put everybody on there. You got some guy with like a, one of those postman bag, because he's a poet, and you got another painter. You're not just going to show up one day. And what if dude dies or something like that happens, right? He gets incarcerated. I don't know. What happens then? Does he get a replace? Is it sorry? There's you signed this big thing and that's it. It's non-refundable. There's a 10% restocking fee of your thing. He's excited about it.
I want to see the Earth in full view.
Well, you're going to see the Earth in full view, and if all goes well, you'll come back down to the Earth alive. If not, there's that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You would think they've got to put you through some stuff, right, Phil? They would have to put these people through some sort of...
Yeah, I think they would have to.
A couple weeks of training at least. All these people for NASA and everybody, they train their entire lives for this, and now this billionaire's going to buy it, and he's going to have 2 weeks of training. It's going to be interesting. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. It is the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
She could do it privately if she prefers, or publicly if she prefers. Monday is her opportunity.
That right there, Mitch McConnell. Monday's her opportunity. Who is her? Professor Ford, Dr. Ford, not Lita Ford. We've already talked about that. We've established it's not her because she would not be caught dead talking to the Senate. Is she going to? Well, Mitch McConnell just said, ain't heard from her. They don't know. Haven't heard from her. Now, her lawyer says she wants to talk, right? The Democrats are like, she wants to talk. But apparently, according to them, she doesn't want to talk till like mid-November. But, she wants to talk. Mitch McConnell's like, hey, you know what? Here we go. This is the chance.
I think that gives her ample opportunity to express her point of view. And Judge Kavanaugh, of course, has been anxious for days to discuss the matter as well.
Yeah. So I would assume so. He wants to be able to defend himself, and I understand that, and I hope people understand that as well. Now, will she is the big question. And if she doesn't, how much does this hurt the Democrats as far as because at this point in time, I'm trying to explain this to people. This isn't for certain Republicans, like all of them or all Democrats. It is for a select few people that may swing this thing the likes of Susan Collins.
Having the opportunity to observe her being questioned, read a transcript or and a deposition and make that kind of assessment is so important. Obviously, if Judge Kavanaugh has lied about what happened, that would be disqualifying.
And remember who she is. She's a Republican from a very liberal state in Maine. She is walking a very thin line when it comes to a good portion of her constituents there. So if this was to be true or to found out to be true, then yeah, I think this is disqualifying across the board. But this is about sowing some seeds of doubt in the likes of that. Plus, then you got Jeff Flake, who has been very adamant, about, hey, we should maybe put the confirmation, we shouldn't have a quick vote. And some people are saying this is going to be revenge and all of these kind of things against Trump. I don't know. But I do know that this isn't for everybody. This whole thing was to just put enough doubt in people's minds that they may get enough people to jump ship from the Republicans to the Democrat side, therefore eventually saying, sorry, Kavanaugh, you're out of here. Can't do it. And because of that, then they'd have to go back to the drawing boards. But that wouldn't happen until after the election, which, judging by what we're seeing and all the polls, it's probably potentially going to be both the House and the Senate that is going to be theirs. And if that happens, well, we're not sitting here talking. We're not. He could put up anybody. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. Now it's, who do you believe? And that's what this is going to be about. Because it's 35 years ago. It's 3.5 decades. Who do you believe? That's the question. If you're on the left, you believe her. If you're on the left, that's it. Period. Case closed. He is guilty. Barbara Boxer.
This woman is to be believed.
There you go. This woman is to be believed. Period. Case closed. We don't even need to know anything. That's it. He's done. He's guilty. Blah, blah, blah. Right? If you're on the right, Judge Kavanaugh.
Do you think that any of these claims are legitimate?
No, I don't. I think this woman, or whoever she is mixed up. But I can't speak for her. All I can say is, no, I don't. I know the judge very, very well. I know how honest he is. I know how straightforward he is. I know how he stands up for what he believes and what's right. And frankly, if you were going to believe anybody, you'd believe him.
Well, we know just about everything about him. What do we know about her? Well, we're going to find out because people are going to start digging. We've already seen that, she had the hat on. Yes, that hat from that march, apparently, according to some. What happened with her, with his his mother, who was also a judge, and her family. All of these things are going to come out. And if she doesn't show up, how does that play out? Does she want it to be public? Does she want it to be private? Does she only want to talk to the Democrats and she refuses to answer any questions from the right side of the aisle, who have every right to ask the question? They absolutely have every right to ask the question. And I don't know. I don't know, because the truth in this, we're not going to get, because of, unless one of them come out and say, I did it, she's right. Or she comes out and says, I didn't do it. I was just upset, and it's a political ploy. I don't like the guy. I think he's awful. It was revenge. It was, I'm worried about choice, and I felt this was my duty. No matter what, unless that happens, and I don't foresee that happening, what are we going to get? Honestly, what are we going to get out of this? I don't want to see it. I don't want to see some woman drag through something. I doubt the Democrats... I think the Democrats don't care as long as they get what they want. And I think the Republicans, the cisgender Caucasian males, probably don't want to look like a-holes to the world as they try to question somebody who has every right to be questioned. Because remember, She decided to write this letter. So they have every right to do that. They have every right to ask her questions. But they're already prefacing everything with, we don't want this to become another one of these.
It wasn't done in the right way with Anita Hill, and we had a generation of women who said it's not worth it coming forward. I do not want that to be this message today.
No, I don't think anybody wants that. I don't think anybody wants that. But what's the alternative? We just go, okay, you're guilty, and that's it. We throw them out. So now that'll be the way to stop everybody? So what do you do? I think it's a fair question. And if she doesn't show up, I think if she doesn't show up, it's a telling thing. If you don't show up and they give you the opportunity to show up, and you could say anything you want, right? You could say, well, she felt uncomfortable, but you decided to write this. You did. You decided, you took this on yourself, that I need to write this. I need to tell the world that this guy is a bad guy. Because 35 years ago, he was drunk and he tried to rape me, and I feared for my life. And I need to tell the world this because they don't know who they're getting as a Supreme Court justice. So you roll that out there. You did it. Originally anonymously, then all of a sudden it came out it was you. And then it was like, she's willing to testify. And then all of a sudden, if she doesn't show up, to me it says this was a giant game. And on top of that, the damage you're doing to the Me Too movement, women who've been in horrible situations, whatever it is that would be wrong. But it's going to happen if you don't show up. It's going to happen. So what now? Well, they haven't heard from her. Can't get a hold of her, apparently. We'll find out over the coming few days what's going to take place. But this is and look, I don't know if she's telling the truth. Neither do you. So what do we do? They want the FBI, and the FBI is like, look, we're not CSI. I mean, there is no federal crime here. There's nothing we can even go back to. Why do you want us to look into something that we've already looked at and said, I can't do anything? Because we think this isn't a TV show, right? This isn't Criminal Minds or one of these things. It doesn't work that way. So, sorry, that's not our job. So now what? Well, if you're on the right, you believe it's a giant political hit job, and you may be right. If you're on the left, you're thinking he's a scumbag, and we always knew that he's a cisgender white male that only wants to take away choice and do what he wants with women. And, I don't know the guy. I mean, but one thing I do know more than anything else is they have looked at everything. And here's another thing. He had, 65 women who sent a letter essentially saying, this is a good dude. It's a good dude, right? Now, she's got some 200 women went to her high school that are championing her as a hero and all of those kind of things, but that's all about choice. They don't really care who she is because they're worried that he's going to take away choice and all of these things, and I'm just like, But as I sit here and laugh at all of these things, is if you're on the left, you've already made your mind up. He's guilty. He's guilty because he's a cisgender male who is just awful, and he's everything that is wrong with the country and the world, and we know nothing about him, even though we know more things about him than any of the other justices that have been nominated, and come there. So let's not, we know, what do we know about her? And that's the questions will be asked. Nothing's going to come of this. Anything, and I've told you over and over again, the public hearings are a show hearing. They might as well get actors to play the parts of these senators, because anything that's real isn't going to come out in the public on a Monday. It's not. It's a show hearing. Look, America, look what we're doing for you. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. What do you think? Do you think that she's telling the truth. Maybe she thinks something happened and it didn't happen the way she thought. Maybe something did happen and he doesn't remember because he was drunk. Or maybe this was all just a big, giant put on. Either way, we're not going to know the truth. And that's what happens 35 years later when you have a he said, she said. Because remember, there's another guy there. So it wasn't just him. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what comes of this. And then, the whole thing about, well, she took a lie detector, not admissible in court. You can fool those things. It depends. If I hand you a piece of paper and I wrote something down and they said, did you write these things down in here? Did you give me this piece of paper with all of these things? And I say, yes. You didn't ask if all those things were true. You just asked me, did I do that? I mean, Ames in the, late 80s, early 90s, there's a guy who was spying for the Russians. He got through lie detector tests because they're not really lie detector tests. They're polygrams. They kind of give you cues of what are signs that people are lying. Means nothing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Dollar Shave, kids. Dollar holler. You see, I'm doing a lot of videos, doing more of them. Check out Chad Benson TV on the old YouTube. But you see me more and more. I'm shaving. I've got, my hair looks great. Why does my hair look great? Well, simple. Dollar Shave Club. Pacific Pomade. Boogie's Pacific Pomade. You have no idea. All of the stuff that they have at Dollar Shave Club is incredible. They've got it runs the gamut, right? Like you've got oils post shave. What? Oh, yeah. You've got the Dr. Carver Shave Butter. Amazing. You've got hair care products from shampoo and conditioner to making your hair look amazing. You have beard oils. Let's say you have a beard, right? Like you shave your legs because you're a swimmer, but you like your beard and you don't want to get rid of it. They got beard oils. You name it, they've got it. What are you waiting for? $5. Start with the Daily Essential Starter Set. After that, it ships at regular price. They've got a video that's hilarious. Check it out. Go to dollarshaveclub.com/Chad. 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 It's the Chad Benson Show.
Welcome to the alt-middle, where solutions live and ignorance dies. The Chad Benson Show.
So, they're killing off Rosanne. Looks like an opioid addiction takes her out. I was listening to Joe Rogan talk about this, and he goes, he knows her, and they said that they were talking on the phone, and, I like Joe Rogan. If you've never watched his podcast, Joe Rogan Experience is amazing. And it was interesting to hear him talk, because he's like, look, I kind of tend to believe her, that, but she's had another issue, too, with, I think it was with Secretary Rice. Some about her having big monkey cojones, if you will. And so, but the Ambien thing, it's interesting. It's interesting when you hear stories about people who are like, I took Ambien and man, I was a mess. Didn't realize I'd done some stuff, but I don't know if side effect is racism as one of those things. I don't know about that, but they're going to kill her off with an opioid thing, which is, and here's the thing. She wasn't really on it that much because it really had become about, the kids and the whole thing. But I'm curious, what does this say if it comes back and it just flops? Which I know there's a lot of people out there that want it to flop. I did not see, I saw maybe 10 minutes of the reboot. And I doubt I'll watch any of this, just partly because I just don't watch TV like that. I mean, I watch, some golf or some soccer or documentaries and a lot of, and I'm like a kid, I YouTube a lot of stuff, but I don't really, that's not my thing. So it is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But opioids, at least that's a relevant thing. That's a real thing. And you could see that, especially in the area from which they came, right? That's kind of a depressed town. They were always in that working class. You hear about Cleveland and a lot of areas like that have all these issues with it. So we'll see. We'll see how this plays out and how it does in the ratings. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. By the way, I saw Captain Marvel. They had the trailer out today, you know, and she's a badass. Brie Larson, oh, yeah, because she's supposed to be the toughest, baddest of all of them, right? Like, she's the only one that potentially can kill Thanos. Oh, yeah, looks pretty good. Looks pretty good indeed. Little immigration talk in a different way and socialism. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Medicare for all, housing is a federal right, a federal jobs guarantee, tuition-free public college, canceling all student loan debt. According to nonpartisan and left-leaning studies friendly to your cause, including the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities or Tax Policy Center, the overall price tag is more than $40 trillion in the next decade. You recently said in an interview that increasing taxes on the very wealthy plus an increased corporate tax rate would make $2 trillion over the next 10 years. So where's the other $38 trillion going to come from?
That right there is an honest question by somebody who gets a lot of crap on this show and many others. Jake Tapper right there talking to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who, by the way, had a photo shoot the other day for and she was caught. She had $3,500 outfit on, and she was defending it. She has the right comes out and attacks her. Look, in a photo shoot, they're going to give you clothes, and she says you give them back. It's like rappers. Do you think all of that's theirs? Like they bring their own money and their ice? That's the jewelry side of things. No, they give it to them. It's part of the fun, and they hand it back to them at the end. So I don't really give a crap about that. But I love the craziness of it all. It's like, oh God, look at her. You know, who cares if she dresses nice, right? Oh wait, I do. When she wants to tax everybody to the hilt. So she's been pushed on this. And you know what's weird is with Bernie, and I don't know if somebody's going to scream sexism soon, but I don't remember, producer Phil, maybe I'm wrong. Do you remember anybody actually pushing Bernie like they're pushing her when it comes to these programs?
No, not at all.
Yeah, see, that's we needed a ruling, and Phil gave us a rule. I don't remember that either, which I think you should do. Let me tell you, we're going to take the money. We're going to give it out, just like Robin Hood. You never seen the movie? This is what happens. So, little Jackie Mason, little Bernie Sanders right there. So he asks her, and then she goes and does what she does, which is a lot of doublespeak and kind of skirt around the issue.
Medicare for all would save the American people a very large amount of money. And these systems are not just high in the sky. Many of them are accomplished by every modern civilized democracy in the Western world. The United Kingdom has a form of single-payer health care. What we need to realize is that these investments are better and they are good for our future. These are generational investments. They're not short-term Band-Aids, but they are really profound decisions about who we want to be as a nation and how we want to act as the wealthiest nation in the history of the world.
Okay, but that right there was not the question and the answer to that question. The question is, how are you going to pay for $40 trillion worth of stuff? Right? Because you've gone on. This isn't about Medicare for all. You're like Medicare for all. Everybody's getting a job. They're getting a house. They're getting all kinds of stuff. Like you are literally given. I mean, everybody's getting something, even if you don't want it. Right? Like you're getting something, but that's costing a lot of money. And that word was a T, not a B. That is a trillion. And with the things that you're proposing, even according to left-leaning, that's to the left, not the right, but left-leaning studies, it's a $40 trillion go. And you're coming up with 2. So you were short.
I get that, but the price tag for everything that you've laid out in your campaign is $40 trillion over the next 10 years. But I'm talking about the overall package. You say it's not pie in the sky, but $40 trillion is quite a bit of money. And the taxes that you talked about raising to pay for this, to pay for your agenda, only count for 2. And we're going by left-leaning analysts.
Yeah. left-leaning, like over here, like is over there and is over here, and we're over here, and they're like, hey, you need 40 trillion. That's with the T, lady, for your agenda. He said that, agenda. He said it, not me. Not me. He said it.
Right. Well, when you look again at how our healthcare works, currently we pay much of these costs go into the private sector. So what we see is, for example, a year ago, I was working downtown in a restaurant.
Don't care.
I went around and I asked how many of you folks have health insurance. Not a single person did, because they would have had to have paid $200 a month for a payment for insurance that had an $8,000 deductible. What these represent are lower costs overall for these programs. And additionally, what this is a broader agenda.
Hey, there goes our Congresswoman. She used to be a hostess at Chili's. That was just last year. You can be anything you want. Chad, you're being mean. It's not answering the question. That's the thing that's frustrating. It's not like, you might as well just say anything. How do you plan to pay for this? I'm not wearing pants, Jake. How do you plan to pay for this? Clouds are fluffy. You're going in circles. You're going in circles. And listen to him here. He's just like, I'm waiting for him to throw the pen in the air and just walk away.
If you look at my generation, millennials, the amount of economic activity that we do not engage in, the fact that we delay purchasing homes, that we don't participate in the economy and purchasing cars, et cetera, as fully as possible, is a cost. It is an externality, if you will, of unprecedented amounts of student loan debt.
I'm assuming I'm not going to get an answer for the other $38 trillion.
I give up. Thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate you. Here's how you'd have to pay for something like this. And even at this, I don't think, because they always want to bring up the analogy of, hey, we could be just like Sweden, right? Like, hey, let's all be like Sweden. Sweden's fantastic. Denmark's great. We'll be like the Scandinavian nations. So here's how they pay for it. First of all, with all of their taxes, you're paying anywhere between 35 and 53% of your income in some way, shape, or form. And for a good portion of people, you're paying about 50%. And how does that work out? Well, Chad, your income tax isn't like that. No, but they have value-added tax, VAT. We have some VAT here. We have taxes here. Yes. But imagine having a tax nationwide that, say, probably to pay for this, it's going to be in the range of 25 to 30%, maybe a little bit higher, to pay for all of this stuff, right? Like, she's the kid. She sounds like the kid that brings everything up to the register, hoping mom's going to pay for it all or dad's going to pay for it all. And they're like looking at it like, I hope you brought your money. Well, I didn't bring my money. Well, why not? Well, I don't really have any. So you want me to buy all this for you? You're going to have to put a lot of this stuff back. Like most of it. Well, I don't want to. And then starts throwing a fit. So you add on the value-added tax. So if you're in a state where you have state tax, local city tax, now you're going to have a VAT of 25 to 30% on top of that. That's how they do it in places like Germany, like Sweden, like Denmark, and a lot of these places. They have a tax on top of the goods. Now, they're also in a homogenous society. It's much smaller. A lot of what you see when it comes to their pharmaceuticals and things, they've piggybacked off our pharmaceuticals. Take the money out of this stuff and see what happens then. See how kind-hearted people are. Trust me, there's a long way we can, and a battle we should have with pharmaceutical companies, but there's a bigger battle to have there and a bigger argument. But we're not addressing the issue of why are some things so ridiculously expensive, like healthcare. And we need to address it. But when you start to say we're going to hand everybody all these free things, you're going to have to start going out there and taxing people to the hilt. Do you think the economy is going to explode? Well, we're going to go after higher corporate tax. Well, Sweden doesn't have that, right? Denmark. So you're going to want to tax people more. Companies have one thing that a lot of individuals don't have. What's that? Mobility. They'll go elsewhere. They'll go to Ireland. They'll go elsewhere. And that's where they'll set up shop. They'll do the things that they have to do here. Well, then we'll just produce it ourselves. Who's going to produce it? The government then? Government, we're going to, instead of iPhones, we're going to have G phones, which are government phones? Man, I don't think so. What ends up happening in places like Sweden and places like Denmark is the people that are rich, who are successful, who are big corporations, for all intents and purposes, they move. They have bounced. Now, it's gotten a lot better over the last few decades when it comes to corporations and things like that, but individuals have left. And because of that, it's the middle class and if you will, the lower class financially who end up fitting the bill for all of these things. And so you've got this weird kind of like Ponzi scheme going on amongst one another, and it disproportionately actually hurts the people that you want to help because they're spending more of their money on taxes than a wealthy person would, but that wealthy person's decided that they don't want to be there anymore. So you got to do something. You got to tax somebody. So the middle class eats a majority of that, and then down it goes. It's not going to work. It all sounds great. I mean, if you listen to her, she was free housing, guaranteed jobs. But there's a young generation who is feeling like this is a wonderful thing, who's feeling like this is an amazing thing, who's feeling like this is it. We free college, free this, free that. It all sounds amazing. But somebody's got to pay for it. Somebody does. And the answer is, we'll tax the rich. It's not going to work the way you think it's going to work. We'll tax corporations. They'll leave. You're making all of these promises that you cannot keep, and that's not what we're about. And then they'll say, well, we need to be more like this. And then you look over there and you say, okay, well, if you're more like this, you're going to disproportionately hurt the people you say you want to help. Then what? You go in and you spend $10 on something. You got your state tax, you got your local tax, and some places you got some sort of weird fee. And then the next thing you know, you got another 25 or 30% on that, and your $10 is $17, $15. And that dollar you're making isn't going as far, and you're frustrated, and it's disproportionately hurt the people you want to help. If you want to get serious, then let's figure out how we can take capitalism, which is the most amazing thing ever invented, and figure out how we can use it in a way that will help us and benefit us tremendously at places like your healthcare provider. How do we get the trough turned off in D.C.? Those are questions that need to be asked. Not promises that can never, ever come true. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. A lot of stuff still you can do. I want to touch on immigration and Fortnite. Is it doing something to people? Couples? Chad Benson Show.
Running with scissors sounds great compared to this.
Say woo! So Fortnite, which if you don't know what that is, where have you been? It is the biggest game. It's absolutely free to play, and then they have microtransactions. That's how they make their money. Let's see what they're making right now. What do you think? Let's take a little, money. Let's see here. Daily money intake from Fortnite. Wow. Here's something, right? Like this is from a few months ago. Are you ready for this? They took in $300 million in the month of April. In May, it was $318 million. Just on iPhone users, they're making $2 million a day. That's a lot. They're doing well, is what I'm saying. They're doing very well. Okay, so Fortnite is now a contributor to divorce. Every 2 years or so, they say some sort of obsession comes along in the gaming world, and it takes over everything. World of Warcraft, Minecraft, just to name a few. Now Fortnite has been popping up in divorce proceedings because apparently women in particular are saying that men have just basically moved on, and they're not into that relationship anymore. They're into Fortnite. Now, I have not played, in fairness to everybody, I've not played Fortnite because I don't play games. I think I've told you guys all my tragic story, but if you didn't, I will recap it for you here. One year, because I love Westerns, I got the game Gun that came out, and it was awesome. At least all the things I had seen about it, and I was very excited. It was the only video game I'd probably had since my Atari. And we got the game, and it was a present. I was very excited about it, and I turned it on. I was super excited, and I couldn't get him to move past the giant rock, and for hours it just said, "Come on, Cole." And it was Chris Christopherson yelling at me, and I promptly took it back the next day. I think that was my last gaming experience. But my nephew plays this game religiously. It was my little brother's adopted, but he plays this game religiously, him and his friends, and it's weird. But I can see that. I mean, but like, producer Phil, you said, like, yes, Facebook was causing divorces. Facebook is different, though, because Facebook, it was like, at first, it was like, oh, hey, there's that chick I went out in high school with, and you guys hook up, and like, oh, my relationship's bad, and you guys can hook up. Fortnite is just, this is an obsession. There's a difference there. I'm sure people hook up, too, but, I just read an article where some guy just killed his rival. He shot like an 11-year-old. What is wrong with people? I couldn't even imagine that. Like, how much do you have to play? Right? Like, how much do you have to play to be that obsessed with something?
It's like I told you, Chad, I'm not going to sit for an afternoon 4, 5, 6 hours playing a video game. I'm just not.
No, I can't. Hell, I mean, here's I do. Okay, he didn't shoot him. He threatened to shoot an 11-year-old boy. That is insane. I do this. So I do all my things, and I've got ants in my pants. The minute I'm in a break, I get up, I go for a walk. I could not imagine sitting somewhere like these people do for hours. And my little brother, the last time I stayed there, so him and all of his hockey buddies, they're all at the house, right? Because they're on vacation, they're working out, they're playing hockey during the day. And then about 9 or 10, they're hanging out and stuff. And then they get something to eat, and they all just sporadically just leave. And they go to their respective homes. And then they all tune in and they start playing. And he'll start at like 10, and like 6 in the morning, he's still playing. I couldn't imagine that. Just one of the reasons I said last week that I enjoyed the Predator movie was because from the time it started to the time it ended, it was less than 2 hours, and that included trailers. And I'm like, that's a win for me. I just can't believe that people play like this, but they get to be, and how weird do you have to be so obsessed as a 45-year-old man that you're pissed at an 11-year-old child and you're going to go shoot him is what you threaten. Oh my God. We have lost the plot, right? We have absolutely lost the plot, from the Kavanaugh stuff to the fight for 15 to Ocasio-Cortez going to give the world everything they wanted and 4 people are going to pay for it, to, getting divorced over Fortnite and or threatening to shoot the 11-year-old neighbor boy down the street because he kicked your ass. Never in my life did I say to myself, man, that kid beat me in Pong. I need to get him. But I was really good at Pong. God, remember when Pong came out? You're like, this technology will never get better than these 2 lines.
And you didn't play that for 6 hours either.
No. It will never get better than these 2 lines and that little white thing. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Check out Chad Benson Show TV on the old tubes of the U. And, of course, Instagram and wherever else good social media things are available. 'Tis the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
You do it. I don't know about the other party, but Judge Kavanaugh is very anxious to do it, and a delay is certainly acceptable. We want to get to the bottom of everything.
The bottom of everything. What is that bottom of everything? Why is this the way it is? How did we get to this position where we were going to confirm him and then all of a sudden a letter that came from Dianne Feinstein because it was sent to her by a woman who said, who should I send this to? Because I have information about this judge, this person that you're about to appoint to the highest court in the land.
When Senator Feinstein had Judge Kavanaugh in her office for a long time, she never even mentioned this. And that was a long time ago. Never even mentioned it. So why wouldn't you bring this up when he is sitting in her office for a pretty extended period of time? So it's unfortunate.
You know what? I get on Trump a lot. You listen to the show, you know that. Don't always agree with some of the stuff he's done. He's got a real fair question right there to ask. And there's a reason for that.
I don't want to say that. Maybe I'll say that in a couple of days, but not now.
Yeah. And you know what that is? It's politics. He didn't want to say what it is, but it's politics. He knows it. You know it. I know it. We all know it. It is baloney. And now what? That is the question that people are going to be. Now what? Now, supposedly, Monday, she was supposed to speak. That may not happen. Senators and people are perplexed by it. People are trying to figure out what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. Should it be in public? Should it not? I don't think it should be in public. I am on the record saying there's no way that this should be in. First of all, I don't want to see somebody who, in her mind, and maybe in real life, she went through something. I don't know. I wasn't there. Neither were you. People are like, that sounds horrible. You say in your mind. Well, I don't know. I wasn't there. But I don't want to see her torn apart by people. I don't. I don't at all. Zero. Do you? I mean, do you have that want to see that? I don't have a want to see that. I got zero want to see that. And I don't think any of us should. This should be behind closed doors. But I will tell you this. This entire situation is meant for a few Republican senators that are on the fence about him. Case in point, Susan Collins.
Having the opportunity to observe her being questioned, read a transcript or and a deposition and make that kind of assessment is so important. Obviously, if Judge Kavanaugh has lied about what happened, that would be disqualifying.
Yeah, if he's lied. But how do you tell if he's lied? Well, we've got her polygraph. Yeah, you look at the polygraph and the way that the question was phrased, and people can beat the polygraph. I mean, you go back to the 80s, I think it's the early 90s, you had that, I think it was Ames, I always screw up his name, who was spying for the Russians, right? Beat the polygraph, right? Was at the time. Beat it. You've got people all the time. I mean, you know, I brought up yesterday the most famous abduction case in the history of the United States of America, and has nothing to do with human beings. It's all to do with an alien abduction case of Travis Walton in Snowflake, Arizona. Everybody passed the polygraph test, not once, but twice, years later. They took it immediately, and then they took it years later, and they passed it. People can pass stuff. Do you believe them? Do you not believe them? How's it phrased? What was the questions? All of those things. Very interesting. But it happened 35 years ago. Could her memory be wrong? It's possible. Could this be a political stunt because she doesn't like him? It's possible. Could it be a political stunt because she doesn't like President Trump? Again, we know a lot about him. We don't know a lot about her. I mean, we're starting to hear stories of, well, you know, his mom, who was also a judge, presided over a case that her parents were involved with. And then, you know, she's been seen at the Women's March wearing the hat and the whole. Again, we know a lot about him. Do we know a lot about her? And everybody, you have a right to ask the questions. That's the way that a lot of people on the left are like, you can't ask that kind of question to somebody. Well, we don't need another Anita Hill situation. That's why behind closed doors, you're probably going to get a lot more. But then they're always going to be, well, what happened in there? But then you see, you have somebody like Barbara Boxer, and listen to the first thing she says here.
This woman is to be believed.
This woman is to be believed. She's to be believed. That's it. Period. Case closed. End of story. Why do you know we're talking about it? And he's not to be believed? I mean, that's the way that it's being spun. And on the back of Me Too and all of this kind of stuff, you can also put fright out there to even go, I don't know if I want to ask this person a question because I'm going to look like a Richard. Well, that's not the way we should be doing things. It's about due process. He has his right to defend himself because we're talking about a person's life here who you're willing to destroy potentially for political gain. And I think that's fair that he has every right to fight if he didn't do anything.
This woman is to be believed. Anna Eshoo is one of the most incredible people I know in this world. She has a heart of gold and she's sharp. She knows after sitting with that woman, you can believe Anna Eshoo and you can believe Dr. Ford. This was attempted rape. And this is a woman who exhibits, Dr. Ford, courage, but the classic signs of post-traumatic stress.
Anna Eshoo is a rep in Silicon Valley, essentially, right? She reps for the state of California, 18th congressional. So she is to be believed above all else, period, case closed, end of story, because somebody has spoken. And for some people on the left, that's all that matters, as we have seen over and over again. I don't know what's to be believed, and neither do you. What I do know is we're never going to know the truth. The truth about this truth is we'll never know the truth because you weren't there and I weren't there. And how many people were there is also in dispute. Because she does say there was two people there. Who is by the way, the person that she's talking about, I think his name is Matt Judge. Is that it? Or he's a big time conservative writer. And he said that didn't happen, but she says it did. And then there was dispute of whether or not there was four people there. And I mean, so this is the nightmare that's going to go on with this. Is it right? Is it wrong? Did he do something? Didn't he do something? Well, that's up for debate now, because that's all we're going to get out of this is debate. Unless one of them comes out and says, you know what, I did do it, or you know what, I did this only because I was so upset and I didn't like the fact that maybe, just maybe, this guy was going to get on there and he was going to change choice and all of this kind of stuff. So I felt like I had to do something, and out of desperation, I did something. Unless that happens, we're never going to know the truth. So the reality is what the Democrats are trying to do is put enough doubt in the minds of somebody like Jeff Flake, who we know can't stand the president, and Susan Collins, who is wary because while she is a Republican, she's also a Republican in a state like Maine, where you've got to be a little bit more socially liberal, and this could potentially bite her in the ass if her constituents see her as somebody who is, so you walk a fine line here. So it's about swaying a few, because that's all they need. If they can get a few to land on their side, that's it. They don't need all of them to change, just enough to put enough doubt. And if this guy's life is ruined because the ends justify the means, even if nothing happens, well, maybe we should ask Dianne Feinstein and everybody else, okay, if that happens and we find out later it's not, do we have the opportunity to get in your Wayback Machine and go build his reputation again? Oh, we don't. Okay. I don't know. I wasn't there. He may be a scumbag. We know a lot about the guy. There's a lot of women who signed off saying, yeah, he's a pretty good guy, right? Some 60-plus women. So there's that. Usually where there's one, there's two, there's three, there's four, there's a pattern. There's that. I'm not saying there's not going to be between now and who knows when, but you're trying to figure it out. I think it's a fair question to ask. And you should question him about these things. You should ask him about these things. You should delve as deep as you can in this situation, because if this is true, then yeah, this does disqualify him. But if it's not true, and this is all about political gain and brownie points for your side and holding it up so you hope you get the midterm elections, which it looks like you're going to, and that way we're going to keep the court 8 versus 8 for as long as we can. If that's what this is about, well, and you don't care what happens, you don't care about the bodies and reputation of the bodies you leave behind, well, there you go. But we will never know the truth. And if you're looking to find out the truth on a Monday afternoon special on CNN and MSNBC and Fox and C-SPAN, you're not going to find it. You're not. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Hey, if you're over 50, what are you doing? You haven't signed up for AMAC. Why not? It's a free 1-year membership. How much better can it get? A free 1-year membership to a organization that is going to go out on your behalf and politically advocate on your behalf, common sense immigration forms, things like that, you know, stuff that matters, Social Security reform, entitlements, and things like that, doing the right thing for the country. And oh, by the way, your benefit memberships are incredible. How about this? Movie tickets. I go to the movies twice a week. 40% off movie tickets is incredible. SeaWorld, Legoland, Six Flags, Disneyland, and Disney World. Getting 40% off there is massive. That's just to name a few of the benefits. They got plenty of them, and they're not even asking you for a credit card. You just have to be over the age of 50. It's a 1-year free membership. Go to amac.us/Chad. Sign up for free. Again, they don't want your credit card. That's amac.us/Chad, or call 888-355-1668. 888-355-1668 or amac.us/Chad. That's amac.us/Chad. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter, ChadBenson. We've got a poll question up. We'll touch on that. And wait till you hear what Denmark's doing when it comes to people who have immigrated from other countries and are there now. It's going to be very, very interesting. Could we do that here? Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
Still got a poll question today. Should Trump pull Kavanaugh's nomination to the Supreme Court? 15% say yes, 60% says no, 25% says depending on the hearing, which, by the way, looks like they're saying GOP senators says the accuser is an option for private or public hearing, and we'll see how that goes. Right now, a good portion of you say, no, he shouldn't. I just don't know what it's going to, I don't know what this is going to serve. Unless one of them confesses, it will be a he said, she said thing. And I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't. I don't think either of them are going to come out and say, I did it, or I didn't do it. It's so what? It's just going to be self-serving for these politicians, and I just don't think that serves us or them very well. But we move on.
I would argue there's certainly things in our laws that have created an incentive for children to come in unaccompanied from Central America.
That right there was a senator named Ron Johnson. He is a Republican talking about incentivizing illegals to come here. Has that happened? Yeah, I think it has. Absolutely, I think it has. Is that why they all come here? No. But has that happened? Yes. And when dealing with illegal immigration and at times even legal immigration, there are questions that need to be asked to the communities themselves. And Denmark is doing stuff. Now, this is Denmark, right? So when you hear the Bernie Sanders and the Ocasio-Cortez and all of them come out and say, oh, my God, we should be more like the Scandinavian countries. Well, this is what they're doing. First of all, they've had a very controversial thing where they're essentially, you're coming in, we're taking some of your goodies, right, to pay for some of this stuff. But now, with even the enthusiastic backing of the left-leaning opposition party, the proposal that's coming out essentially is they're going to force immigrants to integrate into society or else. Ooh. Could you imagine that here? Under the proposal, children living in targeted areas are going to be required by law to attend daycare. They're going to be required to learn Danish, which is, whoa, that is interesting. Immigrant families who take their children back to their countries of origin for long periods could face prison or deportation. Crimes committed in neighborhoods would carry heavier sentences. Children must learn not only Danish, but they have to learn the Danish values and customs. That right there, when you think about this, that is huge. Danish Social Democrat spokesperson Matthias Tesfaye says, we tried to negotiate this to be more draconian. We think government has been soft on this. What? Yeah. What they're saying is, if you want to come here, it's going to A, cost you, and B, you're going to be hella happy to be Danish. You're going to love it. You're going to love the flag. You're going to sing the anthem. You're going to be a part of our country and our culture, and we will welcome you with open arms, or you can get the hell out. You can't be you here the way you were there, just here, and enjoy all of this stuff. They also go on to say, we don't think it's fair that we ask people to pay up to 53% of their income tax for health, education, and safety nets if they feel that part of the common union and the fellow citizens don't want to participate. They just want the goodies. What? Could you imagine that here? We'll base our tax system and what you get on how well you integrate. If you don't integrate, you don't get any stuff, right? If you do, just a little bit, you get a little bit of stuff. If you really become a part of it, well, guess what? You probably won't need all that stuff. What? 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at Socialism. Speaking of that, if you didn't see this interview, I wanted to get to it yesterday. Didn't have time. We're going to touch on this because the big question of how you pay for this, it rarely gets asked and it never gets answered. And this was a time when it was asked, but was it answered? Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Now they're coming at him with this accusation from someone anonymous that he was at a party, which I find hard to believe, in high school.
And drunk.
Drunk. Okay,
allegedly.
Well, that
I find hard to
doesn't excuse it. But sexual assault in high school from an anonymous source, I think it makes us look bad.
That's Bill Maher right there. And by us, I think he means the left, and he sees into it. One thing about Bill Maher, whether you like his politics or not, he is honest in a lot of. That's why I say, look at comedians. You know what? They're a great barometer for truth. Whether it's Norm Macdonald or Bill Maher. Bill Maher, when it's data, he doesn't dispute data. He doesn't like the snowflake whiny world either. And he can look at something and say, I may not agree with Trump and I can't stand him and I may want there to be a recession to get rid of him. And Kavanaugh's an awful human being as far as, his beliefs go. But I can see through BS when I see through BS. And he's honest enough on that side to do that, which most people won't. Now what they're saying is, Dr. Ford, I wish it was Lita Ford. I'd be like, Lita, I don't know if I believe you. Are you sure you didn't attack him? Because you're Lita Ford. But apparently can't be reached. The GOP senators are perplexed by this. They're puzzled. I don't know where this is going to go. But here's my thing. If she decides she doesn't want to speak and that is all on her, doesn't this ruin this? Like everything falls apart at that point in time. I think we can realize that the credibility of this is, you could say what you want. You chose to insert yourself in this by sending that letter. For whatever reason, you said, I feel that I have to do this. So you go and do this, and then you don't show up, even when you said you did want to show up, but now you're not going to show up, and they're offering you a chance to do it in public or behind closed doors. It's if you don't, then boom, your credibility is worthless at that point in time. It is. It'll be worthless. It will be. We'll see what happens. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. So, socialism. Sounds wonderful. Sounds wonderful, this socialism. It's not. It's not. I don't know how many times I have to tell you. And I love how the left likes to pitch this thing. Is it's our version of socialism. It's socialism light. Even though Venezuela is the socialist country, we're going to step away from what they've done wrong because we're going to take all the things they did right. And because our hubris is we can do this all right. Now you've got all these people like, Bernie, he's been out there for years screaming about it's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. Everybody's getting free stuff. It's going to be awesome. Blah, 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 blah. And now you've got a young, growing population of millennials who have been indoctrinated in schools and have been fed this line of BS by these professors who have never lived in the real world, don't understand as their intellect. They live in their intellectual ivory towers, right? And they sit here and they read these things and they talk about it. And the funny thing is, and it really gained more popularity through the 70s and 80s, but the reality is you look back on history and it's been an absolute disaster, right? Like it's been a disaster. When somebody said, I think socialism will work. Really? Well, then I'm the kind of person that could sell you a trip on the first Titanic ship the day after it sunk. I mean, that's how absurd. It's not going to work. It's not. I mean, here's a perfect example. Because I was talking to somebody the other day arguing about this. Even the Chinese, right? Realize this whole thing's not going to work here unless we allow some free market capitalization in this. And it's just otherwise it's going to fall apart. We got to figure this out. They even had to allow capitalism to come in there, a free flow of free markets to stabilize themselves and to keep their billion-plus people somewhat hoping and happy with at least some form of freedom and opportunity. We're seeing socialism at work right now in Venezuela. But here they want to come and implement it here. They talk about it all the time. So Jake Tapper sits down with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and prods her. Some people are finally doing the things that people are asking the question, and the question is simple. Sounds great. Sounds wonderful. How do you pay for it?
Medicare for all, housing is a federal right, a federal jobs guarantee, tuition-free public college, canceling all student loan debt. According to nonpartisan and left-leaning studies friendly to your cause, including the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities or Tax Policy Center, the overall price tag is more than $40 trillion in the next decade. You recently said in an interview that increasing taxes on the very wealthy plus an increased corporate tax rate would make $2 trillion over the next 10 years. So where is the other $38 trillion going to come from?
Yeah, so $38 trillion. We're short a few, right? So think you're going to go buy a pizza, and you're like, okay, we've raised $2. It's $40 for the pizzas. We're short. Now, corporate taxes. This is where I love when when the left comes in. So the left comes in, and they like to scream and yell, well, we're going to raise corporate taxes. Well, we'll be like Scandinavia. Scandinavia doesn't have high corporate taxes. They're a free market society. Well, Chad, it's about taxing the 1%. That's not how they get their money. That's not how they make it work. They have a huge Ponzi scheme in the middle class. The middle class is what pays the freight of what's going on there in places like Scandinavia. And they do it through a VAT, value-added tax. Well, we could do that here. So imagine this, right? 25% on top of everything that you pay for now, minus a few goods. So your everyday expense to purchase something. So let's say you go to the store today and you're going to buy something that's going to cost you $10, but you've got state and local sales taxes, so that adds 15 cents onto it. Then you're going to add on that's going to add $1.50 on. Then you're going to add on another 25% on top of that. So your $10 worth of goods, right, depending on where you are, is going to be $3.50 to $4 extra. Disproportionately hurts the people you're trying to help. That's how they do it over there. That's how. So you want to go, though, instead and hammer corporations that create jobs, which will create then a stagnant economy, which will then create not enough revenue to pay for your stuff. And then, of course, you can't answer the question, so you just wander off aimlessly.
Medicare for All would save the American people a very large amount of money. And these systems are not just high in the sky. Many of them are accomplished by every modern civilized democracy in the Western world. The United Kingdom has a form of single-payer health care. What we need to realize is that these investments are better and they are good for our future. These are generational investments. They're not short-term Band-Aids, but they are really profound decisions about who we want to be as a nation and how we want to act as the wealthiest nation in the history of the world.
And we want to do that by making everybody miserable. That's the one thing that all socialist countries share in is misery. They share in absolute misery. They do. Venezuela tried this, right? You had the great influx of this liberalism / national, we're going to nationalize everything. We're going to do all of these things. We're going to be a real socialist country, all the while sitting on the largest oil reserve in the entire globe. And what did they do? Some 2 million people have fled. People are losing on average about 15 to 20 pounds a year because they can't afford to eat. Inflation is rampant. There is not enough to go around. And what was hoped to be, and this is what happens all the time in socialized countries like this, when you want to talk about where we're going to guarantee this and we're going to guarantee that, is, hey, there's an income inequality. And what ends up happening is that income inequality that you think you have now shrinks. It does. It used to be there were plenty of people that had lots of income, and it did trickle down. Maybe not the way that you liked, but now what you've done is you've chased many of those people away, and the power and income is concentrated in a small few people's hands. And that gap gets wider and wider of the haves and have-nots. That's what ends up happening. And they never have an answer for that. You want to disproportionately hurt the people you say you're going to help? Then try to implement some of these and see what happens. You will build not a voter base. You're going to build a customer base and dependence like you've never seen.
I get that, but the price tag for everything that you've laid out in your campaign is $40 trillion over the next 10 years. But I'm talking about the overall package. You say it's not pie in the sky, but $40 trillion is quite a bit of money. And the taxes that you talked about raising to pay for this, to pay for your agenda, only count for 2. And we're going by left-leaning analysts.
Yeah, left-leaning analysts. People who want you to be right, but people who know that you can't. Sweden used to be a vastly more wealthy country before the 70s came in, and they decided to implement a lot of these cradle-to-the-grave super social programs, which chased away so many companies and corporations and entrepreneurs and business owners. And it wasn't until they started to loosen up some of the regulations that you started to see the telecom industry with Ericsson and a few others start to take off. But the reality is all it is a miniature Ponzi scheme of consumer tax that goes to just keep people's heads above water, and it doesn't promote anything else. You're going to guarantee a job, you're going to guarantee a house, you're going to guarantee an income, and you're going to guarantee education and health care. They never have a way to pay for it. They never do. Once again, when asked, Cortez's train derails.
Right. Well, when you look again at how our healthcare works, currently we pay much of these costs go into the private sector. So what we see is, for example, a year ago I was working downtown in a restaurant. I went around and I asked how many of you folks have health insurance. Not a single person did, because they would have had to have paid $200 a month for a payment for insurance that had an $8,000 deductible. What these represent are lower costs overall for these programs. And additionally, what this is a broader agenda.
It's an agenda. That's all it is. It sounds nice. Everybody's going to get fuzzy bunnies and hugs and dreams and unicorns and all kinds of stuff. The reality is it's not going to work. If we want to fix something like healthcare, we need to look at, okay, what's the problem here? Overregulation in some areas, too many people at the trough in D.C. feeding off the monies that flow in and out of there. Absolutely. Why is it that my phone here is cheaper than a catheter? I'm curious. How many people are in between me and my healthcare provider? Too many people are. Too many systems, too much wackiness. There's a capitalistic way to fix some of these things. But the reality is it's not about that. It's about power. It's about control. That's what this is all about. They believe the government is the end all to be all. I myself believe the individual is the end all to be all. How do you feel? Do you want to be in control? It may not be perfect, but look around the world. It is the best. It is. I'm not going to lie to you. You got a broken arm? Be great to be in England. You're not going to get a bill. You got cancer? You might want to think about that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Somebody's like, well, Chad, look at all these things. If you talk to Scandinavians and you talk to a lot of people who understand socialized medicine, they'll tell you they piggyback off Big Pharma here in America because we're willing to put a ton of money into stuff. And while I get annoyed with the patent chasing and a lot of the stuff that goes on here, they piggyback off a lot of the things that we do here, and they're able to grab some of these things and run with them, which helps them out. But they're not coming up with it. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. So CarShield is amazing every single day. Here's some capitalism for you, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Right? Capitalism's great. Got to spend a little money, save a little bit of money. I'll tell you what you do. The what ifs of the world. You don't know what they are. Your car may fall apart. According to you, you should get a free car according to the government. You're like, I like my car, and there's no such thing as free. Boom. Exactly. If you get extended vehicle protection from CarShield, they make the entire process of fixing your car for a covered repair absolutely easy. 100%. It's your choice, too. All kinds of plans. Check them out for yourself. You get to choose the place where you take the vehicle, or they take it for you because you got 24/7 roadside assistance. They get them paid directly. They're going to get you a rental car for free while your car's in the shop. It's a win-win-win-win-win-win. So what are you doing? Get it today. Extended vehicle protection. I've got it. So should you. Call 800-CAR-6100. That's 800-CAR-6100. Saves you 10% when you mention code Benson, or visit carshield.com. That's carshield.com. Code Benson saves you 10%. A deductible may apply. We got your useless fact of the day straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
While pointless pundits ponder what was, Chad wisely wonders, what's next?
Mitch McConnell wasn't interested in having a hearing like this because there is a very real risk in this new culture that we're living in the Me Too world, where, frankly, women voters, women candidates are so engaged. This was already the year of the woman, and you're going to throw this on the flames just a couple weeks before the midterm elections. It's not a good look.
Flames! Here's the thing, though. If she doesn't show up, which there's a potential, from what we understand, is nobody can get a hold of this woman who's started this Kavanaugh thing and a deeper look into did he do something back 35 years ago to this woman, Dr. Ford. They're looking, at having some sort of hearing on Monday, but now nobody can get a hold of her, and it may not happen. And if it does happen, she has a choice of whether or not it happens. She may not show up. It's a very bizarre situation. And does that hurt her credibility in the year of the woman? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. We got a poll question update. Do you think Trump should pull Kavanaugh's name? Most of you think no. About 60% of you say no. About 20% of you say, yeah, he should. And about 20% of you say, let's just wait and see what happens, if there is a hearing or not. We'll see. My Pillow, amazing. I love it. It can be your pillow, not my actual pillow, just my pillow in general. I sleep like a baby. I love it. I'm out like a light. and I sleep well. Feel better. I'm refreshed every single day. I charge at the world. I've always done that, but now I feel it with a sense of I feel great. And the energy, and it's incredible. And the only little change I made was MyPillow. I've tried a lot of other stuff. This works for me. It'll work for you. 100% machine washable and dryable. Made in the USA. Backed by a 10-year warranty. Right now, you can buy one, get one free. It's a BOGO, kids. You're going to get a premium pillow. You pay for one. You get another one for free. Call 800-944-4975 or go to MyPillow.com. Use promo code Benson. You buy one, get one free. 800-944-4975 or MyPillow.com. Use that promo code Benson. Buy one, get one free. Your useless factoid of the day, including nations that do not exist anymore. Michael Phelps has more Olympic golds than 80% of the countries on Earth. Soak that up for a second, kids, and swim away with it. Have a good rest of your Taco Tuesday. As always, kids, night-night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.